A traitor has no rights, Meghan saying after DeSantis bans Harry from voting for Duchess in state election. Recently, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said Sunday he is not concerned that there is a perception that he has struggled to gain around the GOP primary since launching his campaign in May. Maria, these are narratives. The media does not want me to be the nominee. I think that's very, very clear. DeSantis has consistently been polling second in the crowded Republican presidential field behind Donald Trump, but that position has made him a target for the GOP frontrunner, who has ceaselessly attacked DeSantis on the campaign trail. Quote, my re-election in Florida, we had the greatest victory that any Republican governor candidate in the history of the state had, and yet a few months before the election, I had media saying that somehow my re-election campaign was stalling, that we weren't doing anything, he said. Furthermore, in reaction to reports that Meghan Markle may run for president of the United States and Prince Harry's immigration application, DeSantis has given his own viewpoint. Harry has given a right to privacy, true, but he also has given up the right since he let the whole world know about his frozen willy. This is not about privacy. This is about whether or not immigration knew he was a drug addict and gave him a visa just because he's a prince, while Joe Normal wouldn't if he confessed to the same. A foreigner cannot vote in federal elections or state elections, and they cannot run for an elected federal office. Harry may want to walk back his bonkers comment like he does everything else, and the UK doesn't have a single document that serves as its constitution, so he may be unfamiliar with the concept. The news came after the US government has refused to reveal details of Harry's American visa due to his right to privacy documents. The Department of Homeland Security has for a second time turned down a Freedom of Information request to reveal the material made by a conservative think tank, Heritage Foundation, to see if Harry lied on his visa application. He admitted to consuming illegal substances in his memoir Spare and in his Netflix show, and a fact that's usually barring anyone from U.S. entry. The DHS had rejected an initial application. It said even though Harry was a public figure, that does not mean he would forfeit all rights of privacy. In June, it was reported that lawyers for the Heritage Foundation went to court to try and force the Department of Homeland Security to speed up its response to their Freedom of Information Act request by the Duke of Sussex. Judge Carl Nichols refused to issue an injunction urging the U.S. government to give an answer to the conservative think tank one way or the other. Its lead attorney, Samuel Dewey, shared a letter from the DHS Senior Director Jimmy Wolfrey in which he refused to confirm or deny that he had the Duke's papers on file. In an angry statement posted online, the Heritage Foundation's Niall Gardner hit at the decision. This argument makes no sense, but it's not surprising coming from the zero-transparency Biden administration. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have positioned themselves as public figures in the U.S. since stepping back in 2020. An admission of drug use does not automatically ban you from the U.S. Any denial of entry can be overturned after an in-person interview at a U.S. consulate or official immigration office, where a waiver can be issued. There's a history of authorities releasing immigration documents about public figures. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website has an electronic reading room which contains the files of some celebrities.